PGSN's coverage of Game 2 of 3 between the Vikings and the Falcons. Skyridge won yesterday by a score of 11-4. They try to win the series today. Pleasant Grove tries to force a rubber match tomorrow in a big series in terms of the playoffs and the seeding that comes with it. The game, the national anthem, and everything we love. Coming up next on PGSN. We welcome you back to PGSN. Pleasant Grove and Skyridge faced off yesterday, as we talked about a little earlier. Skyridge and Fowler dominated on the mound in route 2, an 11-4 victory for Pleasant Grove. The struggles came mostly at the plate. Had a lot of runners on, had a lot of traffic, but ultimately grounded into too many double plays, and that resulted in the loss yesterday. Welcome to our broadcast today. The weather is so much better today. Sunny and close to the 60s, I'd have to guess. I'm Alan Judson.
And I'm Zane Grothy.
We have a big game coming up for you guys. These teams were knotted up at 8 and 9. Pleasant Grove at the 8, Skyridge at the 9, coming into this series in terms of playoff seeding. They likely won't face each other in the playoffs because the winner of this series will likely jump up to maybe 6 or 7. The loser will probably take that 9 spot, meaning they'll have to play on the road. That makes this game a big one because Pleasant Grove does not want to go on the road. Nobody does, but neither team wants to go on the road for the first round of the playoffs. A win here for Skyridge is big because it all but clinches it for them to being able to play here next week. A win here for Pleasant Grove is big because it forces a decisive Game 3 with their ace, Hudson Banks, on the mound tomorrow. Today taking the mound for Pleasant Grove is Austin Connolly. Boy, has he been good his last 2 games. A week ago today, facing the Lone Peak Knights, Connolly pitched the final game of the series when the entire game allowed 4 hits, only walked 1 guy, hit 2 batters, 5 strikeouts, 2 earned runs allowed, and picked up the win. 2 weeks ago against the Lehigh Pioneers, Connolly went 6 2/3, only got sat down after he reached his pitch limit. Only 4 hits, 2 walks, 7 strikeouts, 1 earned run, and another win. So the hottest pitcher on Pleasant Grove's team coming up in a big spot here. It is time for the national anthem. We'll step away after that. We've got lineups. We've got the Falcons pitcher, and we've got the first pitch from Lehigh. We'll be back.
As we honor this great country we live in and all the freedoms that it offers us by the singing of our national anthem, the Star Spangled Banner. And thank you for that respect. And let's play ball. The baseball series between the Vikings and Falcons continues today.
Pleasant Grove got in a lab coat and put on some goggles to fill up this lineup. A little experimental, something we don't see a lot from this team. 1, 2, 3 stays the exact same. Drew Smith, RJ Wilson. 2 of Wolf Graham. 4 and 5 look familiar. You'll see CJ Anderson, Mason Henry. It's 6, 7, 8, 9 for Pleasant Grove. It's a little different. Nash Bennett, Noah Brady, Slater Scow, and Jacob Baxter. Bennett and Brady joining the lineup. And some moves around after Gabe McCoy not pulled his hamstring, re-aggravated that leg yesterday running from first to third. Hopefully he will be back soon. Pleasant Grove does not know a timetable on him. Could be tomorrow, could be not again. Pleasant Grove, as we talked about, has Austin Connolly on the mound. We'll talk about that in the bottom half of this inning as he will take the mound. But first, Pleasant Grove's going to face on the mound from the Falcons, number 5. He's joined by number 15, Johansson, behind the plate. Max Johansson had a big game yesterday and also behind the plate then. He's throwing brother to brother. Isaac Johansson on the mound. The senior gets to play a game of catch with his brother. Seems a little unfair. They've been doing that for, more than 2 or 3 years. In the backyard playing some catch. Johansson to Johansson is the battery today for the Falcons. Drew Smith will lead it off for the Pleasant Grove Vikings, something he's done so good at this season. As he steps in the box, Smith is ready. Both Johanssons are ready. We are underway here in Skyridge as a strike low opens it up for Smith, 0-1 count. Yesterday in the series opener, Drew Smith, who takes a ball low here, he went 1 for 4 and had a single paired with 2 groundouts. As he lines that one to short, tough hop, play made, throw on to first. Gets past the first baseman. Smith is going to stay put at first. He reaches on an error. Something he's been so good at this year, just finding a way to get on. That was a hit that looked like trouble right after it left his bat, as the shortstop had to work a tough jump had to field a tough hop, but it worked out for him. And then the throw to first was mishandled. Smith with a short lead off first brings up the third baseman, Wilson. Had a good day yesterday. He went 1 for 3. Fouls that one back, 0-1. Wilson had an RBI yesterday on a double. He also walked and flew out twice. And he comes up with a runner on and nobody out. Pleasant Grove grounded into way too many double plays yesterday. It was 2 or 3 just over 7 innings. That's something they can't do again today. Johansson deals. Cut on and missed by Wilson, 0-2.
All right, Anna, I have a question for you.
Yeah.
Okay, so I wasn't there, obviously, yesterday's game? Yeah, yesterday's game because Colby was there. But since we lost that game, what's something you think PG could do better this game that affected them last game?
High and outside, 1 and 2. I think, just like I just said, the double plays. Pleasant Grove had a lot of runners on. They had a lot of innings end or a lot of rallies just get killed because of the double plays. And that, you can't win if you're going to allow defenses to get 2 guys out in just 1 play, and that's what affected Pleasant Grove yesterday. Smith is back in time to first as Johansson checks on him. Yeah, it was those double plays. The pitching was good. Van Haney went 3 relatively solid innings, only allowing 2 runs. Yeah. And then the bullpen behind him failed him a little bit, but we talked about yesterday how it's a lot easier to defend a lead than it is to try and defend a deficit. Wilson pops that one up to right center field. It's going to be the second baseman. Now the center fielder drops in between them. Smith is going to advance to second, as we'll see if they score that a hit or an error. And they're not going to score it, so it's up for us to decide. Zane, hit or error?
I think that was an error.
You'll give him an error?
I think I'm going to give it an error.
I'm going to go with a single there, just because the mantra is a little bit, obviously it's a case-by-case basis, but if it didn't hit anyone's glove, then he might have just hit it in the perfect spot. We'll see the official scoring after the game. But for now, Wilson has a hit. Wolfgram's a guy who's done a lot of hitting recently. 7-game hit streak. Since Pleasant Grove got no hit against AF, he hasn't got a game without recording one. Cut on and missed. A slider low and away by Johansson. Gets strike 1 on Wolfgram. Pleasant Grove trying to give Connolly an early lead to try and defend with runners on first and second, nobody out. Smith usually would be standing on the base that he'll be defending in the bottom half of this inning. Today he's in center field, not playing second base, as that one's popped up to right field. Sky high. First baseman goes to foul territory to grab it, and he does. Smith thought about tagging up. Both guys did, but the throw in keeps the runners put, 1 out.
I'm going to go back to what you said about the double plays, though. Since I wasn't there, I just kind of started watching the stream just to kind of see what's going on. But I got in, and, yeah, like what you said, just the double plays kind of hurt us that game. I think it's like errors on PG, but I think as long as PG can pick up on that, it'll be a better game than it was yesterday.
Yeah, they did a lot of shuffling defensively overnight, and so it could be an interesting game defensively with some guys playing in newer positions. Obviously, a lot of these guys have played these positions before, but not really this season. Smith moves from second to center field. That's really the biggest change. They just put Brady in at second, where position he's played this season. But it's going to be interesting to see how they do. Anderson, short hopper to short. This could be 2. Only won't get anyone at second, won't get anyone anywhere. An infield single for CJ Anderson. Boy, was I wrong. He said it could be 2. Nobody. Base is loaded for Mason Hawk Henry. He might get mad at me for calling him that.
We'll see.
With 1 out, the bases are loaded. Henry's a guy who's very power-driven. Even if it stays in the park, if he can get one deep into the field, Smith can tag up and score. Henry takes a strike low, 0-1. Big opportunity here in the early goings of this game. Bases loaded, 1 out. An 0-1 count. Nash Bennett on deck. Johansson kicks and deals the 0-1. That one short hopper to short. He mishandles it. They'll get the runner at second. Nobody at first. It's a fielder's choice for Mason Henry, but he brings in a run as Pleasant Grove with a 1-0 lead early in this one.
It's a good start to this game. You can only ask for. I mean, both teams want the first score, but it just comes out to who wants it more.
Only one team can get the first score, and
yeah,
today it's Pleasant Grove. Yesterday, another thing I'd tag it up to, the struggle was allowing Skyridge to have that first score and not answering in the bottom half of the first inning when they had an opportunity to. Johansson drops a strike in there, 0-1 to Bennett. Bennett, the left-hander, in the lineup with a righty on the mound. He's had some spot starts this season. We'll talk about his numbers after this pitch. The 0-1. Another strike, 0-2. Working that outside edge. Bennett has 25 plate appearances thus far. He's batting 176, but a 400 OBP. He has a 28% walk rate down early in this count, 0-2. Johansson deals low and outside, 1-2.
Yeah, it's weird for me because I've gone to most of the baseball games, but since the errors that you've been talking about from last game just aren't kicking to me because I wasn't there. But
yeah, it was a weird game yesterday with the weather too. Johansson kick steals 1-2. Cut on a miss, strike 3, but Pleasant Grove brings Drew Smith across. It's 1-0 after 3 outs. Pleasant Grove, another opportunity with lots of guys on base, but ultimately couldn't get a ton of damage done. But luckily for them, they score in this inning. We talked about how good Austin Connolly has been in the last couple games. The last 2 games, he's gone 13 2/3, allowed 3 total earned runs, and picked up 2 wins against both Lone Peak and Lehigh. They pitched him in 2 games that were series well, the first game against Lehigh was the rubber match, and that second game that he pitched against Lone Peak, it was the third game of the series. It clinched a Pleasant Grove sweep. So AC has been really good after struggling against American Fork in that 10-0 loss for Pleasant Grove. He's really sharpened his sword, and a guy that you feel really confident putting in at that #2 spot on the rotation behind Hudson Banks when the playoffs come next week.
Yeah.
Hudson Banks, he'll be the pitcher tomorrow, but AC, looking at his whole season numbers, 28 2/3 innings. He's allowed 20 hits, 6 walks, 7 batters have been hit by a pitch, 25 strikeouts, 9 earned runs, and he's 4-1 on the season. Has the second lowest ERA for Pleasant Grove with a 2.2, only behind Hudson Banks, who has a 1.93. A .91 whip is nearly the lowest on the team. Among pitchers who have 10-plus innings, it's second to only Jaron Spencer. And even then, he's only second by .01. And a 187 batting average against. Again, amongst pitchers with 10-plus innings, that leads the team. But Nordic is almost there on him. Nordic has gone 9 1/3 innings and has a batting average against that's lower than that. So Nordic has a chance to take that spot, but Connolly ready to take the mound. He'll face Cruz Savage to lead off this game, the former Thunderman. Still don't know what to call a single Westlake player. Single roll of thunder as Connolly opens him up with the ball low and outside, 1-0. In yesterday's game, Savage hit in the same spot he hit leadoff. That time he fouls a pitch back. Count moves 1-1. But Savage went 2 for 5 and scored a run along with an RBI. He also struck out twice.
Austin Connolly with the pitch.
That one lined to short. Baxter. Backhand, can't field it cleanly. Throw on to first. Doesn't have time as Savage starts off this inning the same way that Smith led it off for Pleasant Grove in the top half. Both guys reach on an error by their respective shortstops. And that brings up Camden Stafford. Pleasant Grove's defense behind Austin Connolly. The man behind the plate with him is Tua Wolfcram. Going from first to third in the infield, you'll see Henry, Brady, Baxter, and Wilson. Left to right in the outfield is more unique. You'll see Bennett, Smith, and Scow. As C.J. Anderson is the man DHing for Pleasant Grove today. So some stuff we've seen almost the entire season, and that's like Henry, Wilson, and Scow. And then some stuff we've seen a little less. And Baxter, he's been almost the staple at short. Smith in center, the big change. After Gabe McCoy goes down. Connolly with the 1-0 after he checks on Savage. He kicks and deals. Runner thought about going. 2-0. He took a big lead off first, but got back in time to not prompt a throw from Wolfgram. Stafford, the lefty, ready to receive the 2-0. Connolly deals. That one fouled back, 2-1. Nobody out here in the bottom of the first inning. Pleasant Grove with a slim 1-0 lead. AC on the mound trying to defend it before we head into the top of the second. Connolly with the 2-1.
Checks on mound first.
Savage is back in time. Stafford will be followed by Isaac Pickle, the senior.
Dude, I'd look kind of sick. Have my last name be Savage? Dude, that'd be kind of sick.
It's interesting that you say that because Colby said the opposite. He said that he feels like this last name of Savage is more common, too common to make it like a unique, like, sick name.
Dude, I feel like that'd be kind of sick.
Connolly goes outside, 3-1.
I think Colby's tripping.
Skyridge's senior night will be tomorrow, as Pickle will be one of the men honored. AC with a 3-1 count. Kicks and deals. That one shot to left field. It's going to drop right in front of Bennett. There's a single. And the first hit of this game for the Falcons. And that brings up Isaac Pickle with runners on first and second. Nobody out. The pitcher, Isaac Johansson, is on deck. He'll be followed by the catcher, Max Johansson. So the same lineup we saw from the Falcons yesterday, we'll see from them today, at least thus far. AC with runners on first and second, nobody out. The infield is, the corners are in, expecting a bunt from Pickle. Connolly deals. He does not show bunt, fouls one back, 0-1. Skyridge doesn't look like a team that likes to bunt. They had a couple opportunities yesterday too and didn't. With runners on first and second, nobody out, this is the time you'll see teams bunt more often than almost any other time. Connolly's 0-1. Drops a strike in there, 0-2. That for sure takes off the bunt, which looks like it was never on.
Yeah, Skyridge and PG are different. One team likes to bunt, one team doesn't really feel like bunting, and PG's the one that likes to bunt, and they take advantage of it, and they're good with their bunts.
Connolly has an 0-2 on the mound. He deals. That one lined and ripped to deep left field. That's going to bounce off the wall. It bounces over the wall. It's a ground rule double. That might have saved a run for Pleasant Grove as Pickle rips one over the left field fence, but it hit the ground first. It's 1-1 now. So that brings up Isaac Johansson, who has a chance to really help himself out on the mound with nobody out and runners on second and third. So not bunting was the right idea, I guess.
Yeah.
We saw Connolly struggle early in the start against Lehigh. He really buckled down and worked himself out of a jam and then kind of coasted from there. Pleasant Grove's hoping you can see the same thing here. Starts high and outside, 1-0 on Johansson.
Sorry.
No, you go.
I want to know what GK thinks about having his last name as Savage. I think GK would like that.
We'll talk to him about it, I guess. Connolly now is a 1-1. We've already talked about how this is a big game for both of these teams in terms of seeding. Especially as Pleasant Grove was riding high coming into yesterday's game. They were on a 4-game win streak. They were trying to make it 5. Connolly's 1-1. Cut on and missed, 1-2. Johansson can't connect. So the 1-2 count. Strikeout would be big for Connolly. He steps off. Johansson steps back in. Another lefty in this Falcon lineup. Connolly deals the 1-2. That one's rocketed to right field. Scow makes the catch. Runner tags at third, and he is going to score. It's a sacrifice fly, and it's now 1-2. First out of this inning, as that brings up Max Johansson, the catcher. He steps in. And he'll be followed by Rip Roberts, the sophomore, who's on deck. The infield's in now for Pleasant Grove. They'll try to cut off the run at home. Johansson puts one on the ground. Connolly deals. Way outside, 1-0. Connolly with a 1-0, 1 out here in the bottom of the first inning. He kicks and deals. That one high and outside again, 2-0.
Count.
Infield still in. That one gets away from Wolfgram. Runner stays put at third. And wisely so for Pickle. Wolfgram had a beat on that one after it got past him. It's a 3-0 count now. Really needs to drop a strike in. So he's down 3-0 with the dangerous Rip Roberts on deck. Connolly kicks and deals. That one gets away from him again. First walk of today's game issued to Johansson. And that brings up Rip Roberts with a runner on first. Roberts, he's playing short today. He's batting .403 on the season. Those are some pretty good numbers, as he has 25 hits and 14 RBIs. Looking to add to that total in this appearance. Kason Muhlstein on deck. Dream scenario for Pleasant Grove, goes without saying, try and get that double play.
Yeah.
That's where the fielders are set up. Outfield's playing straight away. Infield, same deal, but backed up to try and turn 2. High 1-0 to Roberts. As Wolfgram's going to go out to talk to Connolly, try and settle him down. Two to 1 here in the bottom of the first inning. Only one out so far. Runners on the corners for Roberts. The right-hander trying to do some damage. First good matchup in a while for Pleasant Grove in terms of righty on righty. Connolly's 1-0. Kicks and deals. There's a weak ground ball. He swung and it went off him, so it's a strike and a foul. As we saw some controversy, I guess, with a call yesterday on the same plane. It's a 1-1 now. As Connolly, that was too soft of a ground ball to try and turn 2. 1-1. There's a strike, 1-2. Connolly with a great pitch on the outside third. Gets him ahead in this count. Still got to make another pitch, at least one more. Connolly's 1-2. He'll check on the runner first. He's caught in a rundown. They got to make sure they keep looking at home. He's going home. That's going to score a run. The runner at first got caught in a pickle and got second base. Pickle just took home. It's 3-1 now. As it's 3-1 Falcons now. I don't think they meant for that to be a double steal, but I'm sure Skyridge is completely okay with how it happened. That takes off the double play too.
I mean, as Skyridge, you have to be happy with what happened, but as PG, you wish it didn't happen.
Connolly's 1-2. Not given the strike call, it's a 2-2. Robert still has a chance to do some damage here, and there's still a runner in scoring position. Connolly kicks, deals the 2-2. That one hit him. They give Roberts first base. And that's going to bring Cap out from the dugout to talk to Connolly. With Muhlstein coming up.
Scores 3-1.
Pleasant Grove obviously not liking how this game's going thus far. Offense looked good in the top half of the inning, but Connolly struggled to get outs. Only 2 hits against him. One man reached on an error. The first man reached on an error. You have to wonder how much that affects Connolly's confidence, as right away he had to worry about people on base.
Yeah. I mean, sorry, you go.
He's got runners on first and second for Muhlstein, as there's a mound visit right now with Coach Cap.
As a pitcher, I mean, obviously I've never played pitcher, but in my opinion, I mean, obviously you gotta have a lot of your confidence. Like, you can't let that confidence get away from you. Even like in basketball, like your confidence, like once the other team starts progressively like scoring, your confidence starts to go down. But you just gotta keep that confidence at the same level and just stay consistent, and it'll work out.
Yeah, I think with Connolly, too, he's been pitching so well recently that if you can get out of this inning with him and keep the score where it is, you feel good about putting him back out there in the second, third, fourth. Hopefully he can, give you a deep appearance.
Yeah.
If he can just get out of this one. Pleasant Grove, once again, double play depth. Henry and Wilson both playing on the grass, maybe expecting bunt. Connolly kicks and deals. No bunt shown. Instead, it's fouled back and out of play. There is not a very high net here.
Yeah, I was gonna bring that up. It's interesting because it's like a straight net with nothing covering like us or the audience or like the parents or whatever. It's also like a really short net compared to other nets that we've seen, including PG.
The 0-1. Connolly deals. There's a ball inside, 1-1. AC's looked good thus far. Maybe he hasn't gotten a couple calls that he's wanted. And then with that leadoff man getting on, maybe impacted his confidence a little. And then just made a couple mistakes hitting guys. A 1-1, grounded to Wilson. Throw to second in time. Brady throws to first. It's a double play. Boy, is that huge. Austin Connolly gets himself out of trouble, limiting the damage to just 3. And that's a spot you feel comfortable with if you're Pleasant Grove. AC has struggled throughout the first 1 or 2 innings thus far. Feel pretty good with just a 3-1 game after 1, because now it's Pleasant Grove's turn to put the foot on the gas. The offense coming up next on PGSN. Pleasant Grove sends up 7, 8, 9 in their order. It's Noah Brady, Slater Scout, Jacob Baxter that are on the docket for this top half of the second. They'll try and get some guys and set the table for the top of the order to do some damage later in the inning. The Johansson's playing catch. Isaac deals to Max for strike 1, 0-1. Brady swings and misses. He's wearing number 27 on the field, not his usual number. Apparently he lost this jersey that had the number 12. He shows bunt. Can't lay it down, 0-2 now. That probably brings off the bunt. Brady's been in these 2-strike counts before in a game where he really played well against Lone Peak. It was a 2-strike count that allowed him to get on, but this time he strikes out on 3 pitches. And that brings up Slater Scow, who's also been struggling recently, and mainly with the strikeout on the season. Scow has a 28.2% strikeout rate. He won't strike out this time. He pops it up to right center field. Right fielder moves in and makes the catch. 1 pitch, 1 out against Scow. As that brings up the 9-hitter, Jacob Baxter. who had a big game yesterday, had 3 plate appearances, 2 singles, and got hit by a pitch. So got on every time he stepped up to the plate. Baxter takes a pitch low, 1-0.
The pitcher's working fast.
Johansson likes the rhythm he's in. Here's the 1-0. There's a strike, 1-1. Drew Smith, the leadoff man on deck. Here's the 1-1. That one low, but brought back up for a strike, 1-2. Baxter, not a huge fan of the call. He's got a 1-2 count to deal with first. 1-2, 2 outs here in the top of the second inning. He grounds it weakly to third, stays fair, fielded over the bag, throw on to first. In time and just barely. What a throw by Isaac Pickle. As Pleasant Grove goes down 1-2-3 in the top half of the second. Austin Connolly comes out. He's coming out to try and get some more outs as he struggled in the top half of the first. Had some pitches that looked really, really good and just had a couple pitches that were hammered. One fell for a ground rule double, but he's quickly back out on the mound. He's got to have a short memory and to try and cook here in this second inning and try and keep himself on the mound. Looks like the man leading off this inning will be Jackson Salcido. That's a new guy. It's not someone we saw yesterday. McCoy Morris will also bat in this inning. They're hitting 8-9 for Skyridge. We saw Morris yesterday. And then Cruz Savage will follow them up. Oh, so really quickly, to answer your question, you said you wondered how GK would think about a last name Savage. I can tell you he doesn't like it.
He doesn't like it?
He doesn't like it.
Honestly, I like it. I like it.
Salcido had a day off yesterday. He's been struggling this season, has a 156 average with a 270 OBP. But he gets the start today. And he's playing in left field. He'll be followed by Morris and then Savage.
The thing you want as PG right now is on defense is obviously to try to go 1-2-3.
Bunt shown. That one popped to Henry. It's foul. Strike one. 0-1.
Is you want to try to go 1-2-3 through the batting order, but worst comes to worst, if Skyridge does get on the plate and there's like multiple runners on, I mean, best case scenario, you want to double play like what Skyridge was doing to us yesterday. And
Connolly drops a great strike in there. Sorry, he made me cut you off with how beautiful that was. 0-2.
And that'll make everything is go 1-2-3 or get to double plays.
Yeah. Anything to get a goose egg on the board for the bottom half of this inning. That's a good start. 1, 2, 3 strikes, you're out. First K of the day for Austin Connolly against Salcido, and that brings up Morris. Again, he'll be followed by the top of the order, Cruz Savage. Will hit behind Morris. Connolly opens up Morris with a pitch inside, 1-0. Connolly, he works on that inside third of the plate. We saw Van Haney, who worked on the inside third, and he hit a couple guys yesterday. Connolly's been pretty good this season about not doing that. Just working on the inside part of the plate. That one fouled straight back towards us. 1-1 count. One ball, one strike, one out here in the bottom half of the second. Morris, the 9-hitter for Skyridge at the plate. Connolly deals 1-1. Behind him, it didn't hit him. 2-1. I don't think it hit Morris because he would have, I think, happily taken first base if it did.
Yeah. It looked a little bit iffy, but
2-1, Connolly deals. There's a pitch high, 3-1. Wolfgram was behind the plate yesterday. Don't expect him to catch tomorrow. Probably don't want to have him do 3 games in 3 days. Connolly, there's a strike. Count moves full. Connolly's been so good this season at bearing down when he has 3 balls and needs a strike. He's been so good at forcing one in there and finding ways to get to these full counts, get to the 2-strike counts, and force the hitter to make a play. He steps off here. Connolly's full count. Wind the kick, the pitch. Strike 2. Walked him. I thought he got him, but that's why I'm not an umpire. Say it with me.
That's why you're not an umpire, and you said that a lot. And let's tell you, you would not be good as an umpire.
Crew Savage steps in now. He has a runner on first and 1 out. I was trying to call it for Connolly. I was hoping the umpire would go along with me. That one low and outside, 1-0. Savage, we talked about how he played yesterday. His first time up on the season, batting .377 with a .462 OBP. He scored 21 runs of his own. And has 14 RBIs to 29 hits. Cuts and misses on a pitch low in the zone, 1-1.
Good on a miss.
He's a sophomore. Again, last year, playing for the Thunder over at Westlake. 4 doubles on the year for him. Everything else has been a single. No triples or homers. That one in the dirt in front of Wolfgram. A 2-1. As Wolfgram struggled to find that one. He's going to go out to talk to Connolly. An .891 OPS on the year for Crew Savage. Paired with 9 stolen bases, so if he does get on, watch for him to run. As Wolfgram heads back to his post with a 2-1 count. Little wind here. Not a ton to be a factor. Feels like it's moving from left to right. That one poked to left field. Bennett isn't going to get there. It drops in front of him. Runners on first and second with 1 out. There's not a ton of space in between third and left, but Savage found it. Dropped a pitch in there. It's 1-2 now. Runners on first and second, that is. And that brings up Stafford.
No, there might be a little wind, but at least it's not as bad as yesterday's weather.
Oh, nothing can be as bad as yesterday's weather.
I was just watching the stream, and at the end, it was just calming down.
It started snowing during the senior night.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Henry and Wilson are in near the grass. There's a strike going 1. So Skyridge does not like to bunt. I think that's pretty evident.
Yeah.
They've had a couple opportunities to. You see it less with runners on first and second and 1 out, especially when it's your 2-hitter up at the plate. But sometimes you still see bunts to try and get defenses moving and force them to make mistakes. The 0-1 from Connolly is outside, 1-1. The 1-1. Connolly from the stretch, he deals. That one drops below the zone, 2-1. Wolfgram still likes it. Get a lot of hitters to offer at that one. Runner on second is McCoy. That one lined to left field. Bennett won't get to that one either. They're sending Morris. Now he stays put. It's bases loaded and 1 out for Isaac Pickle. It's Morris at third, Savage at second, Stafford at first. Ducks on a pond, 1 out for Pickle. He has 3 homers on the year, but even more noteworthy, a .493 average with a .552 on base percentage. Connolly deals. Pitch was high, I guess, 1-0. Nordic is getting loose in the bullpen. Pleasant Grove pulled Van Haney earlier yesterday than we've kind of seen them pull any starter throughout the year. There's a cut and a miss for Pickle. Pleasant Grove keeps their starters in, or they tried to. And yesterday was really the first time we've seen them pull a guy. I think it was the first time we've seen them pull someone after 3. AC is in a pickle against Pickle. There's the 1-1. Now it's a 1-2. What a pitch by Austin Connolly, going away, but keeping it in the zone. So you wonder if he'll try and drop one in the dirt, see if he can get Pickle to swing. Big thing if he does that is making sure Wolfgram gets in front of it and keeps runners from scoring on a wild pitch or pass ball. Connolly's 1-2. That one lined to left field. There's a base hit. That's going to score 2. Bennett comes up throwing. The throw in is not in time. They got a man in a pickle, and he's going to get to third.
Wow.
Runners on the corners. It's a 5-1 game.
That took an interesting turn.
As Skyridge is taking advantage of left field. As Pickle singles to bring in 2. Brings up Isaac Johansson, who's once again in a situation to help himself out. Connolly has 1 out. It's 5-1. He kicks and deals. There's a strike, 0-1. K9 still throwing in the bullpen. 0-1 count to Johansson. Connolly deals. That one popped up. It's going to go foul and out of play. It blew back in play and right into Pleasant Grove's dugout. That's not very fun. Hopefully everyone's okay. So we just saw the wind affect something.
Yeah.
That was definitely blowing from left to right. Don't have to lick my finger and hold it up in the air to see that. Oh, 2 for Connolly. Strike 3 rings him up on the outer third. Second K of the day for Austin Connolly as Johansson goes down looking. Another challenger has appeared. It's another Johansson.
It's another Johansson. With
runners on the corners. But 2 outs now. As Connolly from the stretch, he deals. That one cut on and missed, 0-1. Pleasant Grove has faltered in these last couple days. They really need to find a way to pick themselves up, whether it's through these last 5 innings and tomorrow or just tomorrow. Just any bit of momentum going into next week's games is huge.
Yeah.
There's strike 2, 0-2. Connolly has been so good pushing that curveball or slider or whatever it may be on that outer third of the plate against both righties and lefties. That one went backdoor. The 0-2 with 2 outs, Connolly deals. That one popped to right field. Scow drifting back. Facing the wind, he makes the catch. 2 runs in the inning for the Falcons. It's 5-1 after 2. Some damage needs to be done offensively for Pleasant Grove. The offense, top of the order, coming up next. Johansson has limited Pleasant Grove through 2 innings thus far. Tries to keep the damage going as he faces the top of the order at Smith, Wilson, and Wolfgram, who were the guys who did some damage in the first. Gave Pleasant Grove a 1-0 lead that has since turned into a 5-1 deficit.
I'm gonna try to ask something. We'll see how this goes out of my, coming out of my mouth, but I don't know how to ask. I'll ask it after this pitch.
Johansson prepared to open up this top of the third. Fouled off, 0-1.
Okay, let's see how this works. So from last game, it was 11-4, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Even though it was a low-scoring game for PG, outside, call for ball. Even though it was a low-scoring game for PG, was there anything that PG did that Skyridge should be looking out for this game?
That pitch is low, 2-1. So we talked earlier about how the double play was the issue. You can't have double plays if you don't have guys on. And that was the big thing for Pleasant Grove was they got guys on. They had traffic on the base paths. They just couldn't bring anyone in as Smith up 3-1 in this count now. But that's what I would say was kind of the big thing for Pleasant Grove. A lot of guys had some hits, and like even Jacob Baxter had a big day. He got on 3 times. As Smith fouls that one back, counts full now to open up this inning. But it was a big day in terms of having people on. I mean, Pleasant Grove had 10 hits.
Yeah.
But they just couldn't move people as Smith is going to drop that one to right center field. That's going to look like extra bases. Rounding first, he's going to second. They're going to keep him there. Thought about sending him. But it's a leadoff double for Drew Smith. I talk again and again, and he just keeps making me talk again and again about how good he's been and how big he's been for this Pleasant Grove squad. Whether he's leading it off in the first, leading it off in the third, he's gotten on base both times.
Yeah.
And he's been huge. As Wilson now has a runner in scoring position, nobody out. This inning's a failure if you don't score at least 1 for Pleasant Grove. At least 1, you're obviously thinking more.
Yeah.
But you don't have to get them all back in 1 inning. Just slowly chip away. You want to put up a number in this one, though. Wilson shows bunt. Now he pulls back as the pitch goes low, 1-0. This is what I'm saying. So we talked about how Skyridge doesn't want to bunt when they've got their number 2 hitter up. This is Pleasant Grove's number 2 hitter, and it shows bunt right away.
Yeah.
And that brings the third baseman in near the grass. Everybody else playing close to the grass for the outfield.
Going back to what I was saying earlier, though, is low and outside, called for ball.
Another bunt shown, though.
PG's not afraid to bunt. PG likes to bunt.
Yeah. If they can get on, they'll take it. Any way you can get on. For Wilson, he's gotten on a lot this year getting hit by pitches. Here's the 2-0. He swings away, swinging to first. It goes foul. Even that is a productive, if that had stayed fair, that's a productive at bat for Wilson because it moves the runner from second to third.
Yeah.
The worst possibility, which isn't, terrible, it's not the worst possibility. The worst possibility is a double play, but that would have to be a rare occurrence with a runner on second. The worst possibility is if you hit it a grounder to the short, that keeps Smith at second and gets you out at first. Johansson has that one fouled back. Quickly 2-2 now. As maybe shadows will start to play a little bit of a role here.
No, bro, I want to stay warm.
The outfield in the sun, the infield in the shadows. The big thing with shadows is when the pitcher is in the sun or the shadow and the hitter is in the opposite. But both guys in the shadow for now. And now everybody's in a shadow. Here's a 2-2. Kicks and deals. That one fouled back. Staying alive is Wilson. Wolfgram bare hand gloves it while he's on deck.
I don't think it's gonna, but if it rains, I'm gonna cry.
It's not supposed to rain.
I don't think it will, but if it does, I'm gonna cry.
Yeah. Would not be my favorite.
Especially if it was like yesterday.
Zane, yesterday it snowed. You do not understand.
I know.
We were in senior night. I was sitting in the dugout watching it with the team. And it snowed. It was snowing.
I know. I was outside when it was snowing.
Here's a 2-2 for RJ, the third baseman. Has the center fielder on second. Kicks and deals. That one popped up. I lost it.
Same.
Foul out of play. Stays 2-2.
I was outside hoping it was going to snow a little bit more to the point where I could make a snow angel. That would be so cool.
No such luck.
Especially in the middle of May.
A 2-2 count for number 2. As Johansson deals to Wilson. That one popped to left center field. Maybe deep enough for Smith to advance. He's not going to try it as the left fielder gloves it. And that keeps Smith put at second. It's a fly out for RJ Wilson, who moves to 1-2 on the day.
The sun's back.
Brings up Wolfgram. He flew out his first time up. This is a guy who probably won't bunt for Pleasant Grove.
Yeah, he's the power hitter.
He's pretty good, don't you think?
Yeah.
Wolfgram against Johansson.
He's pretty good.
Johansson kicks and deals. Cut on and missed on the high cheddar. 0-1. We saw Wolfgram go down swinging yesterday on a fastball that was high and away. And wants another one there. He's got the 0-1. Johansson does. See, we'll check on the runner second. Smith is back in time. So again, we see a little bit of a shift in the outfield for Skyridge. Wolfgram grounds that one weakly to short. They'll just take the out at first. And they just barely get it. Wolfgram was close to beating it out, but now there's 2 outs and a runner on second. CJ Anderson is in an at-bat that might be bigger than it should be, as he singled his first time up. Pleasant Grove would not mind that again, as that would likely score the runner from second. Johansson deals. That one inside, 1-0. I can't see the plate. I'm going to be completely honest. I don't know where it is. I don't know if the umpire's blocking it or if it's just dirty.
I think he's blocking because I haven't seen it this whole game.
See, Johansson might be blocking it too. Johansson, the pitcher, on the mound, deals. Low and outside, 2-0. First baseman Mason Henry is on deck if Anderson can get on.
I think the ump's blocking it.
Obviously it's there, but
dude, I don't know, bro.
Johansson has the 2-1. Low and inside, 3-0. Smith, he's heading to third. Throw, not in time. Smith heads up, base running, advances himself 90 feet. And now he's 90 feet away from home plate that may or may not exist.
That's 90 feet?
Yeah. 30 yards right there.
Dang.
3-0 count as Anderson's up. Probably a take pitch here. He does takes a strike, 3-1. So that's the thing I've noticed from Skyridge is when they've gone down 3-0 in counts, they don't, Pleasant Grove likes to go low in the zone and like attack you for a strike. Anderson takes a walk anyway, so it doesn't matter. But from what I've seen these last 2 days, Skyridge just goes middle. I just say, you're not gonna swing, you're gonna take on 3-0, so take.
Yeah.
And I wonder if it'll get to a point in this series where Pleasant Grove says, I'm not going to take. If you're going to throw me a middle fastball, you're going to swing at the middle fastball.
Yeah.
If I swing and a miss, I was going to get a strike if I didn't swing. And my hitting percentage on a middle fastball is probably pretty high. Henry rips that one down the left field line. It goes foul, 0-1. Grounded into a fielder's choice, and it brought in a run in the first inning. Runners on the corners, 2 outs. For Mason Henry. As Johansson deals. That one comes in for a strike, 0-2 now. Henry on the year, batting .333 with a .481 OBP. 25% strikeout percentage, but a 20% walk percentage. Really the only 3 true outcome hitter on Pleasant Grove squad. 0-2 was way high, 1-2. 3 true outcomes being a homer, a walk, or a strikeout. Henry's second in the team in home runs and has high percentages for both Ks and walks. Here's the 1-2 from Johansson. That one's popped to right center field. It might drop, and it does. That scores a run. Anderson advances to third, so Henry comes up and gives his teammate the same opportunity he had. Runners on the corners, 2 outs. This time, a 5-2 deficit instead of a 5-1 deficit. Henry pokes a single. Well, this inning's no longer a failure.
Yeah, you said what they needed is just to get 1 score in, and
I mean, you'll take more than that.
You'll take more,
but with a leadoff double, not scoring at all, that's a failure. Time called at the dish by Bennett. He struck out on 3 pitches his first time up. Comes up again in a good situation. Noah Brady's on deck. Johansson deals.
Strike 1.
That one's low and outside. In my opinion, that's a great take for Bennett. Even if it's called a strike, that's a great take to not offer at because you're probably making weak contact.
Yeah.
On a pitch that far outside the strike zone, Johansson goes the same place, just a little farther outside. 1-1. That's another good take. So we saw yesterday how they shift the center fielder to the left for the top of Pleasant Grove's order. Now it's against all righties. Wilson wouldn't face that shift, a 1-2. Pleasant Grove does not like that call. But the big thing that I'm noticing now is the outfield's playing straight away for Nash Bennett. Is that because, and I don't expect you to know this because I don't think anybody does, except for if you have an orange, or I guess it's black today, a black hat on. As strike 3 lived on the outside part of the plate, and Pleasant Grove is not happy with almost any of those calls as Bennett goes down on strikes for the second time today. Pleasant Grove doesn't think they were strikes, but nothing you can change about it now. Austin Connolly comes out for his 3rd inning of work. And Pleasant Grove's going to talk to the umpire. But the big thing for Pleasant Grove, they get their run. 5-2 now, as they're going to try to slowly chip away at this lead. The big thing here is, can Connolly keep the score where it is? As Wolfgram stays with him behind the dish. Brady will lead off the next inning.
Bro just got handed a whole computer.
That's all you. You know how to run it, right?
I don't know what to do. You gotta help me.
Balls, strikes.
Okay, tell me which one to do.
It's just the call.
Wait, so
whatever the ump calls.
So that's
balls, that's
all
strikes, yeah. Duffy left us.
Is he gonna come back?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Rip Roberts leads off this inning for the Falcons. This is a big one for Connolly to get through with a goose egg. And I think that if any number gets put up on the board before this inning's over, I think his day is over. But we'll see if it comes to it. Connolly deals to Roberts, who shows bunt, takes a strike anyway. It's 0-1.
Oh, wait. Oh, shoot.
That's a ball.
Oopsie daisy.
There you go. Connolly's 1-0. 0-1, excuse me. 0-2 now. I don't know if Skyridge is trying to change that first count to a strike, but they put it up as a ball on the scoreboard. I just said so many things wrong. Here's the 0-2 from Connolly. Cut on. Not at all. Strike 3. I don't know what I'm saying right now, but Connolly just making me speechless. 3-pitch strikeout to open up this inning. His 3rd of the day.
Do I have to reset this?
Yeah, just take it back down to 0. Connolly works low in the zone, 1-0.
That was a ball, right?
Yes.
Oh, Duffy's back. Cool.
He's facing Kaysen Muhlstein. On deck is Jackson Salcido. These are 7 and 8 in Skyridge's order. There's a strike, 1-1. If Salcido or Mulestein can get on, that'll bring up McCoy Morris, and then the lineup will turn over. Here's the 1-1. There's a strike, 1-2. Connolly really getting sharp out there.
Yeah.
As he kicks and deals. That one lined in between Henry and Brady. There's a single.
And here comes the shadows.
That brings up Salcido. 6 hits against Connolly so far, which is a lot for him. He let up 4 in that series finale against Lone Peak, 4 in the series finale against Lehigh, and only 5 in the series finale against American Fork. He checks on the runner at first, who's back in time. None of them have been not none of them. Most of them haven't been great contact. The one that jumped over the wall for a ground rule double was obviously great contact. As hit right away is Salcido, the second man that Connolly's hit today. So that brings up Morris. As they keep Salcido on first, he's trying to run out. I don't know if he's feeling tight, something cramped up after he got hit, but he's trying to run out whatever it may be. Crew Savage is on deck.
It's cold again.
As Morris has one out here in the bottom of the third, trying to put some more runs on the board. Connolly kicks and deals. Pitch low, 1-0. It's Mulestein off second, he singled. And then Salcido off first, he got hit by a pitch. Morris, the 9-hitter, trying to do some damage.
1-0.
Connolly deals. Inside, 2-0.
Dude, I keep getting like tripped out because on the scoreboard it shows the score, right? The 2-5.
Yeah.
But then I'm looking at the left side where it shows the innings, and I keep seeing the 1-0 for PG, and I keep thinking that says 10. So I'm like, I'm getting tripped.
Connolly, he has a 2-0 count. He deals. There's a strike, 2-1. Two balls, 1 strike, 1 out. McCoy Morris trying to knock in some guys. 1 on second, 1 on first for the Falcons. Connolly deals. That one grounded weakly. It gets past Wilson. Bennett comes up throwing in left. That's going to score a run. Mulestein's in. Runners on first and second with 1 out, but a 6-2 lead. And that's going to bring up the top of the order. That looked like a pitch that Wilson might have been able to get to as it was on the ground.
Yeah.
But he pulled up, and it got through the infield. So they leave Savage out. They leave Connolly out to face Savage for the 3rd time today. At least for now. As somebody's making a substitution somewhere.
I didn't catch it.
I think it was probably a pinch runner for the Falcons. And it is. Lincoln Zinn is in for McCoy Morris. He's pinch running at first. Pitch fouled back by Savage, 0-1. It was a pretty good Falcon offense. We've seen them kind of explode in the early innings in these last 2 days.
Yeah.
They scored 11 yesterday. They've put up 6 so far through 2 1/3. And Pleasant Grove just hasn't been able to match it. Connolly's 0-1 is in the dirt. Wolfgram blocks. Runner from second takes third. Runner from first gets thrown out at second. Wolfgram makes a throw from his knees. One that looked kind of like a parabola. It went up and down, but runner out at second. Zinn will head back to the dugout. So now all Connolly's got to worry about is this 3rd out. Now there's a runner on third. Nobody on elsewhere. That pitch high, 2-1.
So, if PG loses this game, do we, no matter what, play away? Like,
no, we won't know anything until I think Saturday. Saturday at 10 is when the rankings come out. There's a strike, 2-2. It's apparently Friday at 10 because they have to play the regionals on Saturday. So we'll know Friday morning. But here's the 2-2 from Connolly. As he kicks and deals that one line back up the middle. Connolly just avoided getting hit. Smith will field it in center. There's another run. As there's now a runner on first. And Stafford comes up. That's going to do it for Austin Connolly. His day is over. As he is responsible for the runner on first. And a rough day for Austin Connolly, who had been riding so high. His day's over after 2 2/3. I think they're going to turn to a man who's already on the field, and they are. It's Noah Brady who's going to come in to pitch. We'll see what they do with the rest of the guys. They bring out Keaton Nordic. He's going to play second. Wonder if they'll have him pitch after Brady's day is done. We'll see. But Nordic, the new second baseman. As Brady takes over on the mound. Brady on the year. Limited sample size. He's thrown just 2 1/3 innings. He's only allowed 1 hit. He's hit 1 guy, struck out 2, 1 earned run tagged against him. He's faced 11 batters. So contact is made against him a lot. He's got a .43 whip and a 3 ERA, 100 batting average against. Again, small sample size. He's only gotten 7 outs this year. They bring him in to face the heart of the Skyridge lineup to open up his appearance. He's gonna have to face 2, 3, well, just 2. If he can get him out, that's all he's gotta face this inning. But Nordic, the new second baseman. It's the only defensive change made with this pitching substitution. As Pleasant Grove keeps it the same otherwise. Man, it has been a rough couple days for the pitching staff. You almost feel like there has to be a huge weight on Hudson Banks' shoulder tomorrow to come out and shove. Not for the sake of the bullpen. Pleasant Grove's got plenty of guys that'll have good arms if Banks needs relief, but just to get that pitching staff back on track.
Yeah. Is Banks for sure pitching tomorrow?
Yeah.
Okay.
There's still 13 outs to get here. Stafford fouls that one back. 0-1. Runner on first is the leadoff man, Savage. Man at the plate, the 2-hitter, Stafford. 2 runs already in this inning. It's 7-2 Falcons in the bottom of the 3rd. Brady has that pitch fouled back as well, 0-2. Noah Brady, number 27 instead of number 12. Gonna try and shove today against Stafford and the rest of this Falcon lineup. Quickly up 0-2. Both pitches have had contact made on them. Brady kicks and deals. That one serves to right field. Boy, are they just taking that shallow part of the field and working with it. A lot of contact served to the shallow left and shallow right. And that brings up Isaac Pickle. You have to feel like that's unsustainable. That weaker contact that just keeps dropping, but been sustainable this whole game.
Yeah.
Now Pleasant Grove puts on a little bit of a shift. The center fielder, Drew Smith, moves to more left center field. There's a ball, 1-0. 1-0 count, 2 outs for Noah Brady. Kicks and deals. Pitch cut on, fouled back, 1-1.
Okay, so this is mainly for, like, you to answer, but for me to get clarification because I wasn't there yesterday.
Yeah.
Is this, from yesterday's game to today's game, is this the earliest Skyridge has scored this many runs, or is it, did they score?
That pitch high and deep to left center. It's over the fence. It is a 3-run home run for Isaac Pickle. It is 10-2 Falcons. They are pouring it on. Wow. A 3-run blast. And Pleasant Grove is searching for answers on the mound.
That, wow. Same reaction as you, just wow.
That brings up Isaac Johansson. That was a shot from Pickle.
Yeah.
With that type of strength, he doesn't have to worry about not being able to unscrew the lid on his namesake, any pickle jars. He is totally fine in that aspect. Johansson fouls it back 0-1.
But, okay, going back to what I was saying before that happened, was Skyridge's runs same with PG's towards the end, or was it towards the beginning?
That one cut on and missed 0-2. I think they scored 10 runs in the first 3 innings yesterday, too.
Wow. Was PG's early on? Or was
PG's was later in the game.
Later. Okay.
Okay, so Skyridge had 10 in the first 5. Pleasant Grove had 4 total in between the 5th and the 6th.
Okay.
That one in the dirt, 1-2. Pleasant Grove came into this game, this series even, they were almost a shoo-in. As that one skied to left center field, that one's gonna drop. As Bennett cuts it off, the throw in will hold the runner at second. It's a 2-out single. As Johansson has put himself on second now for his brother Max Johansson. Yeah, Pleasant Grove came in here almost a shoo-in for second in the region. They just needed to win 1 game, maybe 2 games, to clinch that spot at second. They could drop as far as 4th now.
Wow.
If Skyridge wins this game and Lehigh wins their game, it'll all be messy. But tomorrow, we'll have some more answers for who can take that 2nd place spot. American Fork has clinched first. Westlake has clinched last. And unless my math is incorrect, if Skyridge takes a win here, or Lone Peak loses to American Fork, Lone Peak clinches 5th. So it just leaves the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th spot up for grabs between Pleasant Grove, Skyridge, and Lehigh. Pleasant Grove owns the series over Lehigh, and Skyridge is in a spot to own the series over Pleasant Grove.
We talked about how Skyridge didn't want to show bunt, and
there's a strike, 0-2.
And he just showed bunt just barely.
Yeah, it went foul.
Yeah, it looked like a bunt, like mixed with like a normal swing, kind of.
He's bunting for a hit with 2 outs. Time called.
Count.
Skyridge and Lehigh. Lehigh beat Skyridge in their series. So you could have a circle of weird as that one's popped up to right center field. Smith moving in. Will make the catch and get the 3rd out of this 3rd inning. But boy, oh boy, is that a big lead. Falcons lead 10-2 after 3. We'll come back. both the pitcher and catcher involved at the end of that third inning, so it took him a while to get out here. Just starting his warm-up is Johansson. But for Pleasant Grove, it's kind of been a tale of two teams since they've reached region play. There's been the team that went 8-1 combined against Westlake, Lehigh, and Lone Peak. And then there's the team that got swept by American Fork. And it looks like that same team has showed up in these first two games against Skyridge. And you do not want to look like that Pleasant Grove team going into the playoffs.
Yeah.
That team that went 8-1, that's the team you want to look like. That's a team that's hitting the curveball so well, finding their pitch. A team that's making their pitch on the mound. And we haven't seen that. And it's kind of all been, not to pin it on, it's not at all his fault, but I feel like the person that most embodies the tale of these two teams is Austin Connolly. He went so crazy against Westlake, Lehigh, and Lone Peak as Brady shoots that one to left field. It's caught. And then struggled against Skyridge and American Fork, and that's really been what Pleasant Grove has done.
Yeah.
One pitch, one out here.
PG.
And again, that's not at all saying that it's Austin Connolly's fault. I'm just saying that his performances kind of reflect Pleasant Grove's performances as a whole throughout the year.
PG needs something this inning.
Johansson deals to Scal. Takes strike one, 0-1.
As PG, I mean, you don't want this in any innings, but...
There's strike two, 0-2 on Scal.
But especially the way this game's getting played, you don't want to run this inning scoreless.
Oh, no.
You have to get runs in this inning.
Even if you don't win this game, just for the sake of confidence. It's the 0-2 to Scal. His shot to left center field. There's a base hit. Slater Scal with a one-out single. That's all he's given. As that brings up Jacob Baxter, who grounded out his first time up here with one out. For Skyridge, it's been the third man in their rotation that has picked up a lot of the losses for him. Not to say he will
Strike one
again, but it looks like it's Grover or Pickle who will start tomorrow. It looks like it's going to be Isaac Pickle on the mound. Baxter shoots that one to left field. That's a base hit. Scal round second. He's going to third. He'll stay there. Baxter has a double. Boy, has he been good. Jacob Baxter, that's a guy you feel really good about putting in the lineup now.
Yeah.
So Pleasant Grove, how we've seen them traditionally, you feel really good with their infield going into the playoffs. Wolfgram at catcher, Henry, Smith, Baxter, Wilson. Feel really good about those guys. It's the outfield that you have no clue who is going to play where and when they're going to play, when Scal's going to play, when Robinson's going to play, when Wolfgram's going to play in the outfield, when Smith has been given shots in the outfield. We've seen Dunn in the outfield. There are so many moving pieces in the outfield that you really don't know what that's going to look like come playoff time. But looking at positions 1 through 6, I feel pretty good about those guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, we could go through a list of guys who you can put in the outfield. There was speculation that Baxter might be a guy in the outfield today. Instead, they chose to put Smith out there. But I could go on and on about outfield guys. Talon Page, Dallin Frankum, Nash Bennett, who's playing there today. There are a lot of guys. One out here as a back pick threatened but not given by Johansson.
Oh, one count.
It's Drew Smith, the leadoff man, who has 2 runners in scoring position. He has a double and reached on an error thus far. As Johansson looks in. Time called by Smith. Johansson's 0-1 is high, 1-1. one out. Here in the top of the 4th inning, Pleasant Grove down 8. Johansson deals outside. There's a strike, 1-2.
What you want to know, though, is obviously get the runners in, but worst comes to worst, get on base and put bases loaded with one out and have CJ come out and make something happen.
Here's the 1-2. Smith pops that one up. Foul, out of play. That's RJ, by the way.
Oh, my bad. RJ, my bad.
Yeah, CJ bats 4th.
My bad. My phone's dirty, that's why.
1-2. Johansson kicks and deals to Smith. Shoots that weak grounder, shortstop Fields. Throw on to first is in time, but a run scores. As that brings up RJ Wilson, who has singled and flown out today. Scow came in to score. Smith gets the RBI. As Johansson deals to Wilson, who swings and misses, 0-1. Here's the 0-1, high and outside, 1-1. Baxter advanced to 3rd on the ground out. 1-1 count for Wilson. Wow, high and outside, 2-1. If you can get Scow and Baxter both going heading into the playoffs, that's a good sign.
Yeah.
And that might be what has to happen if Pleasant Grove wants to make a deep run.
That pitch is called for a strike, 2-2.
It's for Baxter and mainly Scow to pick it up and start to have some big at-bats. Wilson gets hit. First time he's been hit in a while. We talked so much at the beginning of the season about him getting hit. Welcome back to the hit column. Probably not the one you want to be in, RJ. Put himself in 2 hit columns today. As that brings up Wolfgram with a fly out and a ground out today.
Let me just say, you are one good commentator.
Thank you, Zane.
I like the way you commentate.
I do not have many games left. So
I've kind of destroyed my swing model.
It's good to hear that. Thank you. Wilson leads off first. Baxter leads off 3rd. Time is called, I think, by Pleasant Grove's first base coach, who's talking to Wilson. I don't think. Now Pleasant Grove's first base coach is having to talk to Skyridge's manager. I think Skyridge has been mouthing to Pleasant Grove, and Pleasant Grove's coach is not liking that. And it's RJ Wilson and Cruz Savage, who have had a little bit of a rivalry going back to last season when Savage was at Westlake. He talked a little bit to Wilson. Wilson hit a home run in that game against Westlake and pointed to Savage and tapped his head as he rounded the bases. And I'm sure, well, I'm not sure, but I'm guessing it's those two again this season, as Wilson's had a pretty good series thus far. He's gotten on twice today in 3 plate appearances and had a good day yesterday with a double. He's been one of the Vikings that's been performing so well. Johansson drops a strike in there, 0-1. But for Savage and the Falcons' credit, if you're up 10-3, you're up 10-3.
Yeah.
And that's, in my opinion, you don't have to do the talking if you're up 10-3. But if you want to do talking, you've backed it up. Here's the 0-1. Low and in the dirt. Baxter is going to score 10-4 as Wilson advances to second. A run scored on a wild pitch.
I really destroyed this bottle.
Yeah. Did I say 10-4?
Yeah, I think
it is
so.
10-4.
It is 10-4.
They just haven't changed the scoreboard. I'm second-guessing myself. It's a 10-4 game. Pleasant Grove probably not going to let this one end in 5 and trying to make it competitive. As Wolfgram steps in the box again. 2 outs here in the top of the 4th inning. It's 1-1. The count is. Wolfgram fouls that one back 1-2. Have the Johanssons been good today, both at the plate, behind the plate, and on the mound. Really leading this Falcon charge to what has been a huge game for the Falcon offense. And even still for the Falcon pitching staff. As Johansson steps off.
You know what you should do, Alan?
What?
Even though you're going to be graduated, you should still come back occasionally. You can be the guest. You can be the return guest.
We'll see how often I get to come back next year. Here's the 1-2. High. 2-2.
I'll make sure you come back often.
As a 2-2 count for Johansson. To Johansson facing Wolfgram. 2-2. That one popped up to left center field, drifting in between it. Center fielder makes the catch. It's over the wall. To a Wolfgram. Way to trick me. It's 10-6. Pleasant Grove clawing their way back into this one. What I thought was a routine fly ball, Wolfgram poked over the fence. To a Wolfgram. I don't care how stupid you make me look. 10-6. Wolfgram has been so good with that long ball this season. That's Wolfgram's 7th. He's halfway to the state record. If you hit 8 tomorrow, you'll tie a record, Wolfgram. Pay money to see that. Anderson grounds down the first base line foul. 0-1. Boy, is Pleasant Grove back in this one.
Yeah.
Now you might warm up Nordic and put him out there for the bottom half of the 4th. Spencer unable to pitch today. He came in yesterday and reached a pitch count that takes him out of today's game. I'm not sure if it takes him out of tomorrow's game. 0-2 count, just as you said, for CJ Anderson. That pitch outside, 1-2. Anderson's been good today. He singled and walked. Here's a 1-2 from Johansson. Good take by CJ Anderson to move the count. There's a lot of 2s here. 22 on the back of the batter. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. 2 squared is the inning number, and 2 squared is the lead for Skyridge. Those 2 are stretches. You don't have to tell me that. 2-2 for Johansson. Kicks, deals. That one's a ball. Payoff pitch coming in the top of the 4th. I got told to stop with the mat. This is sports. I'm helping those who have AP tests coming up. That's not gonna help. Johansson's full count pitch, takes it in, strike 3. Anderson goes down looking, but not before Pleasant Grove gets right back in this one with a Tua Wolfgram blast. We have got an arms race. It's 10-6 after 3.5. Kean Nordic comes out of the dugout. He was playing second to end the last inning. I don't know if he's taking the mound or if Brady's taking the mound. Skyridge is having the team huddle. If I had to get, if this is a Pleasant Grove huddle, I can tell you exactly what they're saying. I'm guessing it's the same thing that Pleasant Grove would be saying. You're up 10-6. You have done nothing to need any smack talk. Your bats are doing the talking. Keep talking with the bats and stop talking with your mouths. That sounds harsh, but that's what I'm saying.
I mean, you're not, it sounds harsh, but you're not wrong.
So Pleasant Grove is keeping the same fielders out there, except for now Nordic's playing center, Brady's playing second, Smith is pitching. So welcome to the merry-go-round. Smith, who has been playing center, usually plays second. You'll hear those positions a lot in the next couple seconds. as Rex Harward is now in at left field. So he takes over for Nash Bennett. I think that's just a 1-for-1 swap. I don't see anyone else switching, except for now Nordic is playing in center. K9 is in. Brady goes back to second, where he played for the first 2 2.2 innings. And Smith takes the mound.
You know, this isn't helping. It's cold, kind of, and I gotta pee. I guess the bathroom. You're shivering. You're cold.
I am shivering.
You're cold.
I suddenly got here. I said, I wish I knew it was going to be sunny, because I would have worn a short sleeve shirt. I am so glad I didn't wear a short sleeve shirt. So glad I'm in a hoodie. I feel bad for you. You're in a short sleeve hoodie and shorts.
Come on, Duffy. You know it's cold.
Rip Roberts is going to lead off this inning. Mulestein is on deck.
I'm destroying this cup. This is cool.
So, just to recap the thing this is probably would have been the easiest way to do it in the first place, but the new Pleasant Grove defense going from first to third in the infield, Henry, Brady, Baxter, Wilson, that's how we saw him at the beginning of the game. Going from left to right in the outfield is now Harward, Nordic, Scow. So left field, right, center field have changed, and now Smith is the man on the mound. Wolfgram stays behind the plate after he sent one over the left field fence in the top half of this inning. Smith faces the shortstop Roberts to open up his outing today. Starts him outside 1-0. So Connolly's final line, he went 2 2/3, allowed 8 hits, 2 walks, hit 2 guys with the pitch, 3 strikeouts, 7 earned runs. Again, he faced 19 batters. That one served to right center field. It's going to be Scow that drifts over to make the catch. Roberts flies out. Brady's line also final. He got 1 out, faced 4 batters, allowed 3 hits, 2 earned runs. Those were all on the home run by Isaac Pickle. And now that brings in Drew Smith, who has faced 1 batter thus far and gotten 1 out. He kicks and deals. There's a curveball that drops in for a strike, going 1. That was a 12-6 of it, all 12 sixes. That was a great pitch. Smith 0-1. Another one grounded weakly. Wilson gloves it on the infield, throw to first. Gets the batter Mulestein. 2 quick outs for Drew Smith. As that brings up Jackson Salcido with 2 outs. So Salcido, nobody on, 2 outs. This is where Skyridge did a lot of their damage yesterday. Wolfgram drops that one outside, can't bring it back for a strike, 1-0. Oh, Utah weather is so bipolar.
I hate Utah weather.
Well, I love this part of Utah weather. Sun's out.
Yeah, but it's cold. And it's the fact that it snowed yesterday in the middle of May.
1-0 count for Smith against Salcido. That curveball hit him. Salcido takes first base. Oh, Pleasant Grove struggled with that recently, hitting batters. And that's another thing that I don't think it's causation, but it is definitely correlation. When Pleasant Grove's hitting batters, that's when they've struggled in games. It's probably somewhat causation, but not entirely the cause. As that brings up Lincoln Zinn, he pinch ran for McCoy Morris, and he's probably pinch running now. Wolfgram has one, just get away from him. He had a chance to throw out the runner as it hit the backstop. It came right back to him, but unfortunately it gets away from him. Now there's a runner in scoring position and 2 outs. Salcido takes second. Morris is out, Zinn is in, and he has a 1-0 count. Crew Savage on deck. Smith kicks, deals, bunt shown. He pulled back in time, a 2-0. Smith, 2 quick outs, and then hit a batter, and now has a 2-0 count on the 4th man of this inning. Smith kicks, deals. There's a strike, 2-1. Smith was a guy that didn't pitch until the first series of region play against Westlake. On the year, he's thrown 10 innings, allowed 11 hits, walked 10 guys, 12 strikeouts. That one served to shallow center field, and nobody's going to get to it. Have they taken advantage of those areas this game? As it's an RBI single for Lincoln Zinn. That moves the score to 11-6. I don't think I've seen a team hit more shallow singles than Skyridge today. And that's not to diss on them.
Yeah.
Part of the field's open.
You gotta, yeah. Part of the field's, whoa, sorry. If part of the field's open, you're gonna take advantage of that, so.
Now this brings up a battle of two ex-teammates. Crew Savage played for Westlake last year. Drew Smith, same deal. Two new schools, and they face off here. Smith versus Savage. Strike one, pitch one goes to Smith. 0-1 count. Crew Savage has been so good today and has been a huge part of this 5-run lead here in the bottom of the fourth. Cut on and missed for strike two. Quickly up 0-2 is Smith. Savage, if he can find a way to get on, will be followed by Stafford this inning. If not, Stafford will come up next inning. Smith deals. That one grounded weakly to Brady. He'll take the throw to first. Not in time. Savage gets on as Brady fumbled with the transfer. Is that a hit or an error? Zane, thoughts?
I think, I don't know. It's like,
I think it's an infield single, from my take.
yeah, I'm agree with you on that one.
Stafford steps in, pops that one up to left field, as it's going to be Baxter in shallow left who makes the catch. Smith works efficiently but allows one run in the bottom half of the fourth inning. The fifth inning presented to you by GK Jarrett coming up. Boy, has it been a weird day. It is 11-6. Only one half inning has not been scored, and that was the top of the second. Otherwise, going from top to bottom, inning to inning, it went 1-3-0-2, 1-5-4-1. If that made any sense to anyone, the only thing you need to know is it's 11-6 as we head into the top of the fifth. Pleasant Grove has kept themselves within striking distance, but hasn't been able to really strike. They did in the top of the fourth, but they've got more work to do. Isaac Johansson stays on the mound for the Falcons as we head to the top of the fifth. Zane will step away. Pleasant Grove has used 3 pitchers today. Austin Connolly went 2 2/3. Noah Brady got 1 out. And then Drew Smith just got 3 as he pitched an inning. GK, welcome.
Hello.
You better not have sunflower seeds in your mouth. You definitely do. Okay. That's why you wanted my cup, bud. Okay. Henry leads off this inning. He'll be followed by Harward, who's taken over in left field for Nash Bennett. Has this been a weird game?
Yeah.
Pleasant Grove, again, they're within striking distance, but one thing that's kind of, I don't want to say failed them.
No, yeah.
It's been the bottom of the order that really came up in the 4th inning, and that's how we saw him score 4 runs. And the bottom half of the order is going to have to come up big in this inning, as it's 5-6-7 to lead off this one. 1-0 to Henry, now 1-1. It's Johansson working the bottom of the zone. Skyridge wearing the black hats and the pinstripe whites. With the orange pinstripes, Henry grounds that one foul, 1-2. Pleasant Grove with blue hats, a darker blue jersey, and gray pants. GK, start with Pleasant Grove, rate the unis.
8.5.
8.5 out of 10? Okay. That one skied to right field. It goes foul, stays in play, and drops in no man's land. Count stays 1-2. I want I don't have the patience to go back and do it, but I kind of want someone to go back and tell us how consistent our rankings have been. So if Pleasant Grove wears this jersey one day, and then they wear it again 2 weeks later, are our rankings the same, or do they change? And if they do, by how much?
That would be
interesting,
yeah.
in my opinion. Johansson's 1-2. Is fouled back. Henry stays alive. Henry has singled and grounded into a fielder's choice today. He's up to lead off the 5th. That one in the dirt, 2-2.
Also, hi, Mom.
Mama GK.
Oh, no, she's watching behind me.
Oh, okay. 2-2 count for Isaac Johansson and Mason Henry. Johansson deals. Low and outside, count moves full. That's a good take from Mason Henry. Again, it'll be Rex Harward, and then I believe Noah Brady. Johansson's full count pitch. Inside, rings him up. Henry was headed to first. Now he heads back to the dugout. Strike 3 on a full count pitch. Pleasant Grove does not like it. Rex Harward checks in. Again, he came in left field for Nash Bennett in the bottom half of the 4th. He's up now in the top of the 5th to bat. He'll be followed by Noah Brady.
How are you liking the outfield and everything that's going on today? The lineup.
Oh, the lineup. That pitch is a strike, 0-1. It's weird. I was talking with Zane about how traditionally the way Pleasant Grove's gone throughout the season with the lineup, positions 1 through 6, that's pitcher, that's basically the entire infield, you feel really good about. The outfield has so many question marks, as the 1-2 from Johansson is inside 1-2. But with Scow, he has a hit today, as well as getting hit. Not Scow, excuse me, that was RJ. He does have a hit today, and he's flown out. That pitch, foul. Falls where no one can get to it. 1-2 for Harward. So if Scow can start to heat up, because the one thing about Pleasant Grove all season is you felt like you've always had one guy that you know is going to play in the field and be good every single day, and that is Gabe McCoy. They don't know when he's going to come back. So the question is, you need for Pleasant Grove to feel comfortable, as Harward takes pitch low, counts full now. For Pleasant Grove to feel comfortable, you want to have one guy who you know is going to play every day and be great. Here's a full count pitch, cut on a miss, drop third, strike. Harward hustling to first, won't get there in time. He strikes out, 2 Ks in the inning. For Isaac Johansson. And if that can be Scow, that's awesome. If it can be Bennett, if it can be Robinson, the only, even if it ends up being Wolfgram and you replace him with Thane or Dunn behind the plate, but you want to have one guy in the outfield that you know is going to go out, be great in the field and with the bat every single day. And the issue for Pleasant Grove is you have a game and 3 innings left, and you have no clue
who that person is,
who that's going to be. And you can tell that they're trying to give people chances. One person I'm kind of shocked that they haven't given a real chance to, in my opinion yet, is Brock Robinson, since McCoy's gone down. But they've given Harward chances. Page had a couple innings yesterday. Bennett's been out there a couple times today. Scow's out there. Like, you really have no clue what the outfield's going to look like. Brady shoots that one to right center. It drops. He's thinking 2, and he's going to get 2. A 2-out double for Noah Brady. And maybe that is, with Pleasant Grove, if you can get, even if it's Brady that gets hot and you start playing him at second and put Drew in the outfield, Drew's now your guy who you know is going to play good every single day. So I think one thing to look for in these last 10 innings of regular season baseball, as Scow pops that one up, it stays in play, and it's caught by Max Johansson. Scow flies out in foul territory. We'll stay with you through this break. But I've found I have a tendency to explain things in a really long way. But if you're Pleasant Grove, one thing to look for in these last, now it's not 10, now it's 9.5. But in these last couple innings of the regular season, is you need one guy to step up who hasn't gotten his time this season and say, look, coach, here I am. I'm going to go be great for you.
Yep.
And I know that every single one of these guys wants to go be that person. But it's a lot easier said than done.
Yeah.
And so if that's Scal, if that's Harvard, if that's Brady, if that's Bennett, if that's Robinson, like I've named the guys enough today. Whoever that is, you want to figure out who that is going into the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
Because the fact of the matter is, with how they've played these last 2 days, you're not going to get the 11 seed at home for game 1 of the playoffs. There's a chance you have to go on the road. You're not going to get that chance in the first round of the playoffs to figure out who that is. You need to figure it out today or tomorrow. And already this season, they've had a guy who's really stepped up, and Anderson has anchored that DH spot, and he's been huge. Like, C.J. Anderson has been massive, but if I'm being completely honest, for Pleasant Grove, you just saw Scal foul out to end that inning. Not because of that, but because you have to find someone. Maybe you put Frankham out there for the rest of this game. Maybe you put Robinson out there for the rest of this game. I think you give someone else a chance. And we saw yesterday how the entire outfield was – there were different guys playing the 7th inning than there were playing the 1st inning.
Yeah.
Entirely different. I don't think that's a bad thing to do again today. And they're only one guy away from doing that right now, and that's Slater Scal. But Nordic is in center. Harvard's in left. It's just a weird outfield.
Yeah.
And I don't think at all what you asked, and a really long answer to your question. But there you go. It's really weird. A 3-0 from Smith is a strike 3-1. He's facing Isaac Pickle, who hit that home run in the bottom half of the 3rd inning. That's really been a game changer. Without that home run, it's 8-6, Skyridge, and you really feel in this game if you're Pleasant Grove. Count moves full on a pitch foul back. But with that home run, it feels like Skyridge is still in control, and Pleasant Grove's got some work to do. Smith, who went down 3-0 in this count, has brought it back to a full count. As that pitch fouled, it's going to stay in play, but drop in no man's land. The wind's kind of affecting those pitches that go in the air. And I said it earlier that I don't think it was an impact for Wolfgram's home run.
Yeah, I don't think it was.
Because I think it's blowing the other way.
Yeah.
But you didn't hear my call. I thought it was just a can of corn.
Awesome. Oh, it was awesome?
I did think it was awesome, but I thought it was just a pop out. I knew it was. I could tell it was going to go deep, but I didn't think it was going to. I didn't even think it was going to get to the track. I'm going to be honest, Tua.
It's funny because everybody in the dugout was like, "Yep, all right, start lining up, start cheering him up."
They thought it was a home run.
Yeah, they thought. They knew.
Holy curveball, Drew Smith. That is a nasty pitch. That was one that started looking like it might hit Pickle, and then by the end it was a pitch he had to swing at to stay alive.
It's nasty.
Drew Smith is a guy who I feel like could be very big for Pleasant Grove on the mound come playoff time, which I say come playoff time, that's next week. He walks Pickle to open up this inning. We'll have coverage for you of the Super Regionals. First game is next week on Thursday at 4 p.m. as the Vikings face an unknown opponent in an unknown place. A lot of question marks in the outfield, and for that game, it's probably going to be Hudson Banks who opens it up.
Hopefully.
You'd have to think.
You'd have to think, yeah.
But other than that, that's probably the only guy. You can assume Hudson's going to try to play, and that one hits Isaac Johansson. You have to assume Hudson's going to play. You have to assume Wolfgram, Wilson, Smith, and Henry are going to play. And then beyond that, everything else is a question mark. We'll see next week on Thursday. These two teams will face off on Thursday, that is tomorrow, at 3:30 p.m. They're back here in Lehigh. Hudson Banks is taking the mound, barring any last-minute change, which I don't see happening. For the Falcons senior night, the Falcons spoiled the Vikings senior night. The Vikings try to return the favor tomorrow afternoon in the regular season finale on PGSN. Tune in at 3:30 p.m. We'll have coverage for you for all 7 innings. Smith has runners on first and second, nobody out. Max Johansson swings and misses.
Can I tell you something?
Yeah.
You're really good at commentating.
Thank you. Can I, this is going to sound like I'm boasting my own, I'm tooting my own horn, but can I tell you something?
Yeah.
You're the second person to tell me that on air today.
Yeah?
Yeah. Thank you, GK.
Yeah. Just hearing you talk through these headphones is awesome.
There's an 0-1 count. Pickle, who leads off second. Johansson, who leads off first. Johansson at the plate. That's Isaac to Max. Wow.
Wow.
I don't know if the camera's doing this justice. I saw that pitch go above the umpire and then drop in for a strike. They use the term 12-6 curveball. This is the definition of a 12-6 curveball. And then the fastball is fouled off by Johansson. You have to think that these hitters have to be sitting fastball because a 12-6 is unhittable. That curveball is unhittable off Drew Smith. And one thing I think he might turn to here with his 2-strike count is high fastball, because coming out of his hand, try and make it look like the curveball, that goes behind Johansson. Wolfgram doesn't get the bounce he wants. Now there's runners in scoring position. 2 runners.
I hate this wind.
Yeah. Almost as bad as the rain.
Almost.
Yeah. My body's mostly shielded from the wind, so I'm not as cold, but... And not the most discouraging thing, but the weirdest thing is that this is kind of our first bad weather series of the year.
Yeah.
And it's the last one. As there's a 1-2 for Smith. Now 2 runners in scoring position, nobody out. Double play is likely off. Wow. That's the 12-6, and just staying alive is Max Johansson. It looks like, and I'm not a hitter or anything baseball related besides a commentator, but it looks like Smith is a 2-pitch pitcher. He's got the fastball, he's got the curveball. But when they're both on, they play off each other so well that you can see him and his effectiveness really go up. So a 1-2 for Smith, who kicks and deals. That one grounded weakly to Henry. It goes foul. Johansson just staying alive. We talked about it last time they came up, but these Johansson brothers have been so good for Skyridge today. As Smith has the 1-2. Johansson swings and misses at a pitch in the dirt. Wolfgram goes to first. Runner stays at third. Drew Smith gets his first strikeout of today's game and the first out of this bottom half of the 5th inning. Brings up Rip Roberts, the shortstop. Usually with teams, you see the shortstop hit towards the top of the lineup, usually top 4 guys. These two teams are unique in the way that neither team's shortstop hits in the top half of the order. Pleasant Grove's hits 9th today. He's had a big day, Baxter has. And Roberts hits 7th. So, more unique between these two teams. Now you go.
I was just going to say, every time I try to talk, I can't.
It's too cold?
No. Just strike one. Like, I can't. Like, you're on spot on everything. And I'm just like, yep, strike one. Yep, ball.
You got that call that time, 0-1. For Smith, he has Mulestein on deck. Facing Roberts, the righty here, the 0-1. Wow.
Yikes, yeah, I mean, you saw it.
That is gross. Drew, there are kids watching.
That is disgusting.
Wow. That might have to be the play of the game, and it's just one pitch. The 0-2 for Smith, who kicks and deals. Wow, is that a big strikeout? Back-to-back Ks.
That was right down the middle, yeah.
We talked about that curveball and that fastball play off each other so well. That fastball started in that same tunnel that curveball that he just embarrassed Roberts on came in. Roberts wisely said, oh, I'm going to lay off this. He's trying to double up that curveball. No. No. That's what works so well for Smith, as he's with 2 outs and facing Muhlstein. Trying to keep this score where it is. There's strike one, 0-1. There's that fastball.
Feels like he's been throwing gas.
And again, that's another thing. The velocity change between the fastball and the curveball is so huge for batters, because you really just have to sit one of them. And you don't want to sit his fastball, because with the 2-strike counts, he usually turns to his curveball. So you have to make an adjustment mid-at-bat. And you don't want to sit his curveball because it's so disgusting.
Just like you said with outfield, there has to be one player that you know that has to be good.
Yeah.
I think the same goes with pitching, too.
Yeah.
Coming in, Austin Conley letting in how many? Was
7.
It? 7?
7 earned, 8 total. One of them was unearned on the pickoff error, the throwing error.
And then you have...
That one grounded to second base. It's going to be Brady who gloves, throw on to first, in time. Smith works himself in and out of trouble. We'll let you finish your thought, don't you worry. But 3 outs there in the 5th. Wow, we just had a scoreless inning. I don't know what you decided to, what voodoo magic you worked, but neither team scored in the 5th. It's 11-6. Heading into the 6th inning. Now I'll let you finish your thought, sorry.
No, all good. And then you have someone like Noah coming in, letting in the home run for them. And I'm not trying to put these guys down or anything, but then you have Drew Smith coming in, and you know that he can probably go innings without scoring.
Yeah, and he's gone 2 and only allowed 1 earned run. That was in the bottom of the 4th. Only 2 hits against him.
But not just for this game, too, for all the games.
Oh, yeah. And again, we talked about when he came in, obviously you weren't here, but he only had 10 innings on the year. And I think that's because as you're playing teams like Westlake and you're playing games against Lone Peak where you're up 17-10, and those types of games, you're not going to take one of your best fielders out.
Yep.
But that, when he is on, he is on. And there is
for sure
nobody out of Pleasant Grove's bullpen who, when they're on, is as good as Drew Smith.
And our starter pitcher, of course, is Hudson Banks.
Yeah.
And we'll see what happens tomorrow with him.
Yeah. Hudson Banks has been a guy who's been so good. He's playing to a 1.93 ERA.
Because you have to remember, he hasn't played in
2 weeks.
2 weeks.
Yeah, took the whole series off against Lone Peak. Pulled out the broom to sweep up my hair after the end, but
all right.
There's an 0-1 for Baxter.
See you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow, GK. Thank you for joining us today. As we have an 11-6 ball game, Baxter takes a pitch low, 1-1. You're coming tomorrow then? There are some questions, but he'll be here, 2-0. I think it's a 2-1 now, as that pitch was low and inside. It was 1-1 coming in, now it's a 2-1. It's a 2-1 count, umpire clarifies. Nobody out here in the top of the 6th. Leadoff man Baxter at the dish. Rips that one to short. Backhand field is clean. Throw on to first is in time. What a play. Playing so well at that shortstop hole is Rip Roberts. He might not hit very high in the order, but boy, is he good defensively. And he's been good with the bat, too.
Yeah.
As that brings up Drew Smith, who's been so good on the mound for his 4th plate appearance today. He's doubled, reached on an error, and grounded out today. Facing Isaac Johansson for the 4th time. Johansson kicks and deals. That one popped up foul. We'll see if it drifts out of play. It does. Hits the top of the Falcon dugout. 0-1. One and one.
Duffy with the clarification.
Johansson obviously going to try to go all 7 here. And I think if he enters the 7th with a 5-run or better lead, they'll let him. Smith pops that one up. This one's going to stay in the infield. It's in between the yellow poles. Second baseman comes on. Roberts cuts him off to make the catch. Smith flies out. Looked a little bit like the Ken Griffey Jr. catch, but I would be beyond flabbergasted if they are father and son. So brings up R.J. Wilson, who has a single, a hit by pitch, and a fly out. Played good defense at third base throughout this whole season. He's been the staple as the number 2 hitter. Don't expect him to go anywhere. Johansson with 2 outs. Drops one down the middle, 0-1.
Did you ask GK about the last name?
I did not ask him about the last name. I already know. We talked about it yesterday. Not a huge fan of the Savage last name. Wilson pops that one to left center field. That one's going to drop. So it's not just the Falcons. It's both teams that like to use that shallow field. As Wilson has his 2nd hit of the day, he's been heating up between the last couple days. That brings up Tua Wolfgram. He's already knocked in 2 today. Knocked in his friend R.J. Wilson, who's on first now, with a long ball.
When GK took the mic, I found phone with my friends, and we were talking about it. This game went from a not so good game to a very good turn for PG.
Wolfgram fouls that one back, 0-1. And you're still not in my opinion, you're not in very good territory. You're still losing.
Yeah.
And the pitching staff's allowed 11 runs, but in the last 2 innings, you've outscored them 4-1, and that's got to be a big vote of confidence for going into tomorrow.
Yeah.
Even if you include that 3rd inning where Skyridge dropped 5, Wolfgram shoots that one to straightaway center field, going back on the track at the wall. It hits off the batter's eye. It's a home run. Tua Wolfgram, do it twice. So nice, he has to do it twice. 11-8. Tua Wolfgram, have yourself a day. As a 2-run home run hits off the batter's eye in center field, right back in it. Tua Wolfgram has been so big for Pleasant Grove. His 3rd and 4th RBIs of today's game. Yeah, you're 7 home runs away from the state record now, Tua. State record's 15 in a season. That was his 8th. So, with the way he's been hitting, you know, if you adjust his last 2 plate appearances for a full season rate, no, I'm not playing that game. There are some guys after, you know, the first game of every season, you have a good first game, and you're like, oh, if you look over a whole season, you know, Mike Trout would bat 350. But, wow. Wow. Tua Wolfgram, I can't say anything else. And he forces a pitching change on the Skyridge end. It's Andres Pearson, who's in now number 32. The junior.
You cannot ask for anything better. And I have the same reaction as you, just wow. Tua right back at it.
8.53 ERA, 2-0 on the year, Pearson is, in 7 appearances. He's thrown 10 2/3 innings, allowed 16 hits, 13 earned runs, 7 walks to 4 strikeouts. He's faced 53 guys throughout the year. And he's got to face 4, 5, and 6 in Pleasant Grove's order. It's Anderson, Henry, and then Harward, with 2 outs here in the top of the 6th inning. Talked about how wanting to go all 7, Johansson did. He doesn't get through the 6th after Wolfgram punishes him twice. As, boy, do you feel like the tides have turned. And that's all thanks, not all thanks, but a lot of that thanks goes to Tua Wolfgram, he's put the 2 in Tua a couple times this school year. He put the 2 in Tua against Lehigh for football season when he had 2 touchdowns. He later made himself 3-0 Wolfgram with a 3rd. But he put the 2 in Tua today with 2 home runs, both of them 2-run home runs. That brings up C.J. Anderson, the lefty. He'll face the right-handed Pearson. The junior has struggled thus far and is trying to get on track against a Viking offense that's starting to heat up. Anderson has singled, walked, and struck out today. That's a 1-0 count against Pearson, who kicks and deals outside 2-0. Oh,
Whoa.
That's a strike, 1-1. Pleasant Grove is not happy with that call. But Anderson's just got to deal with it. Here's the 1-1. That one's in the dirt, 2-1. When the pitch has a dust cloud coming with it, you can't call it a strike unless the batter swung, and Anderson didn't. So 2-1. Pearson on the mound, kicks and deals. Outside, 3-1. One thing that is another big thing with Pleasant Grove starting to score more runs, the dugout's back in it.
Yeah.
And they're really backing their guys at the plate. Pearson deals the 3-1. In the dirt, Anderson works a 5-pitch walk for Pearson's first batter. His second of the day. And this is another thing we've talked about again and again and again. Anderson started the season not thinking he was going to get a ton of varsity playing time. He is a guy you can't take out of the lineup.
Yeah.
And after the first couple games, I was talking to a couple guys and I was like, yeah, he's hot. You can't take him out until he cools down. He's not going to cool down. It's C.J. Anderson.
C.J. Anderson.
As Skyridge sends someone out to the bullpen, it's Cohen Plew. P-L-E-W-E. I think it's Plew. As there's a strike to Henry. Anderson leads off first. As Pearson has the 0-1, time called by Johansson. And he goes out to the dugout. I wonder if the pitch comm or the communication system's a little broken. Instead, Johansson just talking to a coach. This is not something we usually see. But it doesn't look like he has pitch comm at all. It looks like he's been calling the game. Finishes up his discussion. Not sure what it was about. But an 0-1 coming in for Mason Henry. 2 outs in the top of the 6th. As Henry tries to deliver. A single, fielder's choice, and a strikeout thus far. Pearson deals the 0-1. Cut on and missed, 0-2. That's a good... I keep naming these pitches, and I don't know if I'm the right guy to name these pitches. I think that's a slider. As an 0-2 count for Pearson. 2 outs, trying to get out of the top of the 6th inning. He deals. That one way high. Max Johansson has to go off 1 foot to catch it. 1-2 for Henry. Pearson kicks, deals. Outside in the dirt, 2-2. Henry stays put. Anderson stays put. As Andre Pearson. A 2-2 count. Pearson looks in, kicks, deals. Strike 3! Henry goes down looking. Pearson works himself out of trouble. We're through 5.5, and we have a ball game. It's 11-8, thanks to Tua Wolfgram's second 2-run shot of the day. One thing that I don't think is going to get enough credit, obviously Wolfgram's the guy who sent both of them, one of them over the wall, one of them over the yellow line in center. But one thing that's not going to get enough credit is Wilson getting himself on in front of Wolfgram both times.
Yeah.
And I know that second one, I think for the first one it was too, with 2 outs.
Yeah.
And so it's been that 2-3 punch. That's given Pleasant Grove half of their runs. And Drew Smith comes out for his 3rd inning of work. Here in the bottom of the 6th, Skyridge is just 3 outs away from ending this game. But if you're a Pleasant Grove fan, you feel a lot better after the last 3 innings than you did through the first 3 innings.
Yeah, and like you said earlier, at least I think you said it, PG's in it. PG is now in it.
And they will send up Jackson Salcido, Lincoln Zinn, and Cruz Savage in this inning. At least that's who's scheduled. Looks like that's who they're going to stick with. Pleasant Grove looks like keeps the same defensive alignment. Oh, Harvard's moved to center. I don't know if they just moved Nordic to left or if they have someone totally new in left. So here's Salcido, the righty, steps in against the righty Smith. He kicks and deals. Low and outside in the dirt, 1-0. So Nordic just moved over to left, and Harvard moved to center. Believe it's still Scowen, right? Don't have any reason to believe it's not. So here's the 1-0 from Smith. There's a 1-1, fastball right down the middle. Count moves 1-1, as I already said. 1 ball, 1 strike in the top of the 6th.
Do you mean the bottom of the 6?
Yes.
Yeah, you said top.
Oops. It's a 2-1 now. Thank you for correcting me.
Got you.
It is Scowen, right? Brady's played good defense at second today. Kind of a spot start for him as they moved Drew to center. Here's the 2-1. Bunt shown again. Salcido has not been shy. Now he's up 3-1 in the count. You wonder if they'll let him swing away or if he'll show bunt again. A 3-1 count for Smith, who kicks and deals. That one shot up. It's going to stay in play. It's foul. Wolfgram camps under it and makes the catch as he falls to the ground, but he makes the catch. 1 out here in the bottom half of the 6th, and Lincoln's in. We'll step in now. I don't want to drag the attention away from this game, but boy, is Juan Soto really good. He's homered today and just got another RBI. It's a really good player. As the Yankees try to win their 8th straight against the Astros, they're 5-0 on them this season. Time is called by the umpire. So Zinn exits the game, and they allow McCoy Morris back in, so he's re-entering, which is allowed in high school baseball. In a weird, there's some weird rules. They're not really weird after once you get used to them. Very different high school rules from professional rules, but Morris, it is legal for him to come back in, and he is back in. Chris Savage stays on deck. It was Zinn who was taking warm-up swings before the inning, and they switched to Morris last second. 0-1, not given the call, 1-1.
I'm cold again.
I was gonna say welcome to March, but it's May. So if this was the first series of the year, that 1-1 pitch is nasty. Drew Smith, you are gross. A 1-2 on the 12-6 curve. He is so good with that 12-6. We'll see if he tunnels that high fastball. 1-2 count. Went with the curveball. Went inside, 2-2 now. Scoreboard says 3-1. We'll see if the umpire clarifies. Oh, it's 3-1. Full count now?
Huh?
I don't. I'm not 100% sure. I'm pretty sure it's a 2-2 count.
I'm pretty sure it's a 2-2 count too.
And then it got changed to a 3-1 and then a full count.
And now 2-2.
I think it's 2-2. So a 2-2 count. Drew Smith kicks and deals. Oh, Wolfgram, that one was too nasty for him. We do not have this technology, but I want to know the vertical drop on that. Because that's dropping feet. That is multiple feet.
Yeah.
Full count pitch, 1 out. Smith grounded back past him. It's going to get past the infield as it's a 1-out single for McCoy Morris.
Alan, you're smart enough. You could come up with that technology.
Oh, it's out there.
Well, you could find it. You could get it.
Just high schools can't afford it. Mac Fowers is pinch running for McCoy Morris. So now that he has re-entered the game and then exited again, he cannot come back in. McCoy Morris's day is over as they run Fowers at first. He pitched yesterday and had a good game. So Crew Savage is going to face his former teammate, Drew Smith, once again. Savage shoots one to left field. That one's foul. Oh, no, it's fair. The runner was still put at first. Everybody thought that was fair, foul. Savage gets a weird base hit. Even Fowers was still at first when that pitch dropped. But that was definitely fair. Wind doing some damage for the Vikings that time. That brings up Stafford with 1 out here in the bottom of the 6th. Smith is trying to defend a 3-run deficit. Pleasant Grove looking for an inning-ending double play here, and that's what that curveball is so good at, trying to get hitters to swing over top of it. Goes with the fastball to open him up. 0-1 for Stafford. Still looking for that double play. For guys who are so good with the curveball, that high fastball also induces a lot of weak contact to try and turn to. Here's the 0-1. That one in the dirt, 1-1.
I have a question, Alan.
Yeah.
So, for batting-wise, hold on, I'll say it after this.
The 1-1 from Smith. Runners on first and second. He deals. There's a strike, 1-2.
If it's a full power hit, it has to go past dirt to be fair, right?
Yes.
What about bunting? Like, does it just have to go past a pitcher mound, or does it have to go?
So I'll explain that in a second. Here's the 1-2 from Smith. Foul back just barely by Stafford. So for a bunt, as long as it stays in between, you see the white lines on the ground and the yellow, those line up with the yellow poles in the outfield. As long as it stays inside of that, it's fair no matter how far it goes. If it hits beyond a bag, in fair, and then jumps foul, then it's fair.
Okay. Now I understand.
And another weird thing is if it's in front of the first base bag and it goes foul and then fair, it's fair. Here's the 1-2. That one just fouled back as well. Stafford staying alive with 1 out.
Went straight back for Duffy, and Duffy was unfazed.
Isaac Pickle is on deck. He has a home run of his own. And his was an absolute shot to left field. It scored 3 in the bottom half of the 3rd. Smith's got the 1-2. You wonder if he'll turn to the curveball after 2 fastballs, or if he'll go 3 straight. Does do the curveball, goes high, 2-2.
I want to go home. It's cold. Dude, I want those, those heater blankets, bro?
Yeah.
I want one of those right now.
Smith has the 2-2 on Stafford. Wine to kick the pitch. In the dirt, count moves full with 1 out. You bring up a dangerous man if you load the bases here. I mean, it'll come up anyway, unless it's a double play, but Stafford shoots the full count pitch into left field. It goes foul. No one can get to it, and we'll do it again.
It's cold.
Smith steps back on the mound. has a full count pitch here with 1 out in the bottom half of the 6th inning. Smith looks into Wolfgram. Now he kicks and deals. That one chopped to first. Henry, it jumps over his glove. Rounding third, going home is Fowers. The throw in is not in time. Runners on the corners. It's an RBI single for Stafford. And that's a big insurance run for the Falcons. The score moves to 12-8, and Isaac Pickle comes up with runners on the corners.
Wow.
That's a big at-bat by Stafford. He grinded, and he took a lot of pitches, fouled a lot off. Smith just couldn't quite get that full count pitch, and it was a good pitch.
Yeah.
Good contact forced, just jumped over the glove of Henry. There's a ball outside, 1-0. It's Savage who's leading off third. Stafford, who just got that single, leading off first. Isaac Pickle at the plate. The 3-man in the Falcons order. Smith, he'll check on first. Isaac Johansson, who opened this game on the mound, is on deck. His brother, the catcher, Max Johansson, behind him. 1-0 from Smith. He'll check on the runner first. Stafford's back. We haven't seen Smith check on runners a lot, but with 1 out here, it's a big opportunity for Stafford to try and steal a base to take that double play off. Especially with Smith's curveball. Gives the hitter a lot of time to try and steal, as usually that pitch goes in the dirt as well, which makes it harder for the catcher to get up. Smith's 2-0. He's outside 3-0. Now he has to throw a strike here to Isaac Pickle. We'll see if Skyridge gives him a green light or if Smith is just able to drop a strike in there. Here's a 3-0 with 1 out. Smith from the stretch, runners on the corners, kicks and deals. There's a strike, 3-1. That's what I was talking about earlier. I don't know if it's by choice. I'd have to guess it is, because at this level, it's probably pretty easy for these guys to just throw down the middle. But Pleasant Grove doesn't just loft you a fastball.
Yeah.
If they're down 3-0 in a count, they'll make you work for it. Pickle skies that one to right field. Scow drifts back on the track, makes the catch. Runner tags from third. Savage will score on the sacrifice fly. It's now 13-8. As that brings up Isaac Johansson with 2 outs and a 5-run deficit for Pleasant Grove. Two outs here in the bottom of the 6th inning. Skyridge has matched Pleasant Grove's effort from the top half. Both teams have scored 2 thus far. That pitch goes high, 1-0. Isaac Johansson. He went 5 2/3.
Drew Smith with the 1-0.
Pitch high again, 2-0. The only man on now is Stafford, who leads off first. As they're going to pinch run for him now. It's not something you see usually this late with a man on. Lehigh beat Westlake 7-4. That brings in Ryder Longman. American Fork is up 10-6 on Lone Peak. As a Lehigh win gives them 2nd place in the region for now. The 2-0 from Smith. Foul back, 2-1. Barring Westlake's first win in region play or a Pleasant Grove win here, Lehigh has all but locked up that 2nd place spot in the region. Here's the 2-0. That one in the dirt. Good block by Wolf. 2-1, excuse me. Now it's a 3-1. Good block by Wolfgram. So if Pleasant Grove goes on to lose this game, to take second place in the region, they'd have to win tomorrow, and Westlake would have to win. If they win today, all Pleasant Grove has to do is win tomorrow as well. 3-1 from Smith. They check on the runner at first. He was back in time.
Counts 3-1.
That means these two, Skyridge and Pleasant Grove, would play a winner-take-all for third place in the region. He just wanted to get his jersey dirty a second. He slid in on the walk. He was guaranteed the base. Don't blame him. So that brings up Max Johansson. Two outs here in the bottom half of the sixth. Runner on first and second. Smith just needs one more out. There's a curveball that's a ball, 1-0. Pleasant Grove is not happy with these calls. That curveball is a hard pitch to call because you have to wonder where it is when it crosses the plate, not when it gets to the catcher's glove. Here's the 1-0 from Smith. One foul back, 1-1. Rip Roberts, the shortstop, on deck. Smith has a 1-1 on the catcher Johansson, and Wolfgram now calls time. He'll bring in the infield to talk to Smith.
The wind is crazy, bro.
Tomorrow's weather's supposed to be much better.
But we live in Utah. We also live in Utah, so.
Yeah, you never know. Whoever knows.
Dude, like, why can't Utah be like Florida? It's like, it's always consistent in Florida. Kind of.
The weekend's supposed to be really nice. That's all I can say. Neither of these teams will play on the weekend, even if Pleasant Grove gets swept here, as there's a softball on the field. Or a tennis ball. I think it was a tennis ball. But no matter what happens in this series, neither team's going to drop to 15 through 18 in the RPI. They're all but guaranteed a first-round bye. Smith is taking his time getting ready. Max stays in the box, which is rare. Here's the 1-1 from Smith. Nasty curveball, but Johansson somehow stays back. 2-1. 2-1 count for Johansson with 2 outs here in the bottom half of the sixth inning. Smith has looked good so far. They'll check on the runner at first. They almost got him. Henry had to come in from a little bit more of a laid-back position as they tried to get Isaac Johansson. He got his hand back in. He's taking a big lead. 2-1 at the plate. Smith looks back a second, now he deals. There's a strike, 2-2. That is just, I don't know if it's a sweeping curve. It looks like a 12-6. That one looked a little bit more like a sweeping curve, but holy cow, it is amazing. It's a great pitch.
Yeah, amazing pitch.
2-2. Smith trying to end this inning, and he does! Swing and a miss from Max Johansson. Smith picks up his third K of the day as he goes 3 strong innings. It's 13-8. Pleasant Grove 3 outs left to get 5 runs. We'll see what they do in the top half of the 7th next on PGSN. Pearson comes out for the top half of the 7th inning.